The show was birthed in the middle of a very, very difficult and challenging time of my life. So I was almost bed rest for about 4 months. But I said, no, God can give me the strength to do it. And he sent me to do it. And I literally got the strength to do it. Kuda. Never did I dream I'd make my own clothes. Never. Actually do have a brand, yes.
Welcome to another episode of Surround Yourself with Greatness. I'm your host, Kuda Biza. And right now, I am in Dubai. And here's an interesting story. I go to this networking event, and I meet this well put together fashionista person in the room. And I'm like, wow, I love her energy. I love her vibe. I want to get to know her. We get to talk. I learned she has a talk show in Zimbabwe that airs on DSTV and other channels over there. And it's also on YouTube for the international audience. And it actually turns out we grew up in the same neighborhood. So I was like, I need to bring this guest to Surround Yourself with Greatness, mainly because I really love what she's doing with a platform. Her show is called The Tanny Show, and she gets to bring guests to talk about, mental health, spirituality, and she really wants to empower young people to really go to the next level. So I want you guys to give a warm welcome to Tanny. Hey, Tanny, how are you?
Hi, Kuda. I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much to have me.
You're always looking good. You always, dress well. So you're my inspiration. You need to kind of give me a fashion check because I'm just kind of here. So before you leave, I need you to help me switch up my look, right?
Okay.
So that next time when I step out, people will be like, who is this guy?
That?
Exactly. So
sure. Thank you, Kuda. Thank you.
The first thing I want to find out is I want to understand your journey in starting the Tanny Show. What inspired you? And as you were working on setting it up, what were some of the challenges that you experienced putting the show together?
Okay, Kuda. So it's such an interesting journey behind the talk show. It's not anything that I ever saw myself doing, to be honest with you. I generally did used to create content. I've always been passionate about delivering a specific message, empowering and uplifting people, but doing it through a talk show, I never dreamt about that. So interesting story. I was actually just meditating and praying and trying to understand what God wanted me to do in that specific year and just the things he wanted me to deliver to people. And he said, do a talk show. So it was very interesting because I was like, Lord, did I hear you right? A talk show, me, why? And, I then got the whole full picture of what it was I was supposed to do and why I was supposed to do it. Right. And it was so interesting because I brushed it off for some time and I was like, I don't know when this is supposed to happen. Maybe God is showing me my future.
20 years from now.
Yeah, 20 years from now when I've retired and then,
But God is no, now.
No, yeah, he's no, now. So it was actually interesting because the show was birthed in the middle of a very, very difficult and challenging time of my life.
What do you mean by that?
I was going through so much. Physically, I actually wasn't well. So I was almost bed rest for about 4 months. Time, that's when he's like, do it. And for me, this touches me so much because I was like, I could have easily just decided to listen to my body, to listen to everything going on around me. But I said, no, God can give me the strength to do it. And he sent me to do it. And I literally got the strength to do it. That was so interesting because I was not feeling physically well, but I would get up, I would get my fabric, I would make my clothes for the show.
So you make your own clothes for your show?
I make my own clothes for the show.
Did you make this outfit?
I did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I generally just do dress myself. So I just got the strength to get out of bed. I was like, I'm going to go to the factory. I'm going to make my clothes. And in that moment, I found so much strength where it actually lifted everything off me that I was going through.
Well, the good good word does say that in our weakness, he becomes our strength.
Exactly. I literally saw the strength of God just working through me, because I was like, this is clearly not me, because physically I wasn't capable of doing the things that I was doing. So there wasn't much preparation into it. I was just this very ambitious person who heard something and I was like, let me do it. And I had no idea how to be a host, how to present, nothing. I just freestyled it. And the feedback was just really so amazing. So I said, you know what, wow, this was great. It was a journey that I really, really loved. So I think some of the challenges in the beginning where I had no idea what I was doing, but it really came together very well. And for that, I'm grateful.
You know, for a moment, I thought you were going to say like, oh, Maichi Samba inspired me. But because it's coming from God, I'm actually happy that you listened. Yeah. And what I do love about your platform, and I haven't been in Zimbabwe or lived in Zimbabwe for a long time, is that you're focusing on empowering young people. And I feel like in times like this, right, the Zimbabwean economy is not good. There's a lot of unemployment. Anything that is providing a positive message, something that's uplifting, is much needed. So what motivated you to really focus on that group, but more importantly, have an empowering message? Because some people start talk shows where they gossip, right? They talk about celebrities, they talk about all these different things. But you were very specific in, I want to be a positive influence to our youth. So just dive into what drove that decision and what are some of the results you're seeing as a result of that decision?
So with that certain age group, it's because of personal experiences that I experienced at that age. And, I look back and I was like, God, had I known the things that I know now, the level of greatness that I had even then, it was wasted. And had I known the stuff that I know now, I wonder where I would have been. But I thank God because he restored my life. But I want to lift others out and up out of that scenario. If anything, the best case scenario, they should just not even go through certain things that I went through. So I'm really passionate about getting young people to understand that they don't have to live a certain lifestyle. They don't have to go through certain things, So that's it. And like what you said, that there's a lot going on in Zim. And, the message, the loudest message is always sort of the negative one, the gossip, the drama, So I said, I want to be a louder voice, but I want to uplift, I want to empower, I want to bring out the greatest version from young people.
So that's why you're on Surround Yourself with Greatness.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So starting anything is a challenge. And I can only imagine the challenges you've faced trying to bring the show together. Because I'm an entrepreneur, I've started multiple businesses.
Yeah.
And, when you have the idea and you're trying to, bring it to life, the business plan always looks pretty, but when you actually start doing it,
the reality is something else.
There are a lot of unforeseen things that just come up. So what were some of the challenges that you faced as you were putting together your show? And how did you overcome them?
Kuda, no one tells you how expensive, broadcasting media is until you actually start it. So, I was so excited. Oh, God is giving me this vision. And now the reality hits and I'm like, damn, this is a lot. But I think for me, my advantage was, it wasn't my vision. It's something that God gave me. And when God sends you to do something, he always sends you with the tools to do it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What she's saying is that when God gives you the vision, he also gives you the provision for it. Preach on, sister.
So for me, that's where my faith just stirred from. And I said, God, you've told me to do this. I don't know the how. All I know is I'm going to do it because you have sent me. And the how he put it through, it was a lot. It took a lot of prayer. For me, it was about prayer and faith, because I said, for my part, it's about praying for this to come to pass and obviously trying to put things on the ground, and the finances came through. And for me, it was a big miracle, especially for the first season.
Right.
I thought I was going to get like chunks of bits from like different organizations or like different sponsors who were just going to believe in the show. And I had one person who just said, how many episodes? And I said 8. They're like, how much are all of them? And they gave me all the money.
Wow.
So for me, that was my first big like, wow, look, when God sends you, all you have to do is understand the God you are serving and how big he is, and do not limit his abilities.
When he gives you the vision, he gives you the provision.
Exactly.
I love testimonies like this because I think it just showcases that if you're obedient, and more importantly, faith comes through action, right?
Yeah.
Like your action is what actually then shows God that, okay, she's faithful. Let me give her what she needs. Then he shows up. So I'm reminded of Abraham. He's been waiting for Isaac. Your talk show was an Isaac.
Oh, wow.
You finally get it.
Yeah.
And then God is like, okay, now go to the mountain and sacrifice it. So in your case, you have the idea.
Yeah.
You have all of these things in place, but you need the finances. But you just kept moving until you got to the top of the mountain. And then God provided what you needed from just one person.
Yeah.
Like when Abraham was ready to, sacrifice his son, the provision was there for him to actually do the sacrifice. So that's what I got when you were sharing the story. So kudos to you for that. Because I know a lot of people who let dreams, visions that God gives them don't manifest into anything because either they give into fear, self-doubt, but just soldiering through and seeing it to the end is a quality that I admire. So I just wanted to make sure that I call you out on it and just give you kudos on that.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
let's switch gears and talk about a topic that you love, fashion.
Okay.
So at what point did you realize that you were a fashionista and you loved fashion?
So I've always been that fashionista, the stylish, the drama girl from literally a young age. I was the one dressing up. So everywhere I would go, you would know, oh, she's the one dressing up. Yeah, but never did I dream I'd make my own clothes. Never. Actually do have a brand. Yeah, so I sell, yeah.
So
yeah.
you have a store and all of that in Zimbabwe?
Yes, I do.
Tell us where. Maybe I can have my sisters come and buy over there.
Sure. So the brand is called the Tanny Store. And right now we just relocated from our physical location. So we're trading online.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So we do custom wear and some stuff already available. And yeah, so mainly the focus is ladies wear. And I did venture as a company, into corporate wear and school uniforms as well. So that's on the mass production side of things. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So I want to do something that I rarely do.
Okay.
And it's called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So I'll ask you a question and you just have to quickly answer with 1 or 2 words.
Okay.
So for instance, if I was to say, do you like pizza or pasta? You quickly just tell me what you like.
Okay, cool.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's start there. Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
If you were to vacation, would you go to Bora Bora or you'd go to Australia?
Australia.
Wow. You wouldn't go to Bora Bora?
I'd go to Australia.
Okay.
I really want to just go to Australia. So I thought Australia.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cars. Range Rover or Mercedes-Benz?
Range Rover.
Range Rover. Okay.
Yeah, that's my dream car.
All right. Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about fashion. Who do you think is a better designer? Well, let's not talk about designers because I don't really know designers. Let's talk about brands.
Okay.
So would you rather do Chanel or Louis Vuitton?
I think I'm a Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you rather go shop in Paris or Italy?
In Paris.
In Paris. Okay.
Yeah.
And one more. If you were to go on a safari in Africa, would you do Kruger National Park in South Africa, or you'd do Masai Mara, Kenya / Serengeti, Tanzania?
Is this the last question?
It is the last question.
And it's the complicated one.
So Kruger National Park, or you'd go to Masai Mara in Kenya. But Masai Mara is literally next to Serengeti. So you could cross over to go into the Serengeti in Tanzania. So where would you go? Safari.
I'd do Kenya.
You do Kenya?
Yeah, because I've
Nice.
just been to South Africa too many times.
Okay.
So that won't even feel like a holiday or an adventure or whatever. It just feel like I'm at home.
So I've been to Masai Mara in Kenya, and we actually slept inside Masai Mara, where we could hear like the lions like
Oh, wow.
roaring and whatnot, and the Masai people were like protecting us. So it's definitely an interesting experience. You want to go there when the animals are kind of like going from the Serengeti to Masai Mara, because then you'll kind of like see them just do this stampede. Go there.
I'm definitely
You'll
going
thank
there.
me later.
I'm definitely going.
And before you go back to Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
go to Zanzibar
Okay.
and just chill by the beach and hang
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So good. So now I know you a little bit more. So if I see you online saying you're going shopping, I'll probably think, okay, maybe she's headed to Paris.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. I'm curious to hear if you have any success stories that you can share from viewers who are watching your show and how the show has impacted them. So any success stories you'd like to share?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple. The most interesting thing is that when the show airs on TV on a Thursday, I know that my phone is going to be blowing either with messages or calls. It's been amazing just to see that people actually do give feedback and appreciate what they have taken out of it. And there was an episode on men's mental health. I'm a big advocate on that because I just feel like it's something that's never really focused on.
Right.
And I've gotten through a journey where I've learned how much men actually go through. So I got a call from a man who just really was like, oh my God, this really transformed me, because I had no idea as a man if people would even understand the kind of things that I'm going through. So
Right.
that really touched me, just from, that perspective, to know that how much it should have taken a man to call a stranger and still admit that he is going through something and he just
Right.
had no idea who to reach or where to get help from. So yeah. And we had a guest on season 1, a young girl who unfortunately went through some physical assault, and she got pregnant and dropped out of school. So because of the show, we managed to get funding for her. She's
Oh,
now
wow.
gone back to school. Yeah.
Wow, that's
She's
awesome.
gone back to school. She's doing well. She's about to write her O-levels now. And yeah, so also looking after the baby. So that's been a very good, and very exciting journey for me, just to see the shift of, the time when she came in and where she is now. It's been lovely.
So to touch back on what you mentioned earlier, you were saying that God gave you the vision for the show.
Yeah.
And part of it was so that your show could be a way to bless others and to be like a way to answer people's prayers. So let's talk about this girl for a minute.
Okay.
She was probably worried about what her life outlook was going to be because of what she went through, number
Yeah.
one. The prospects of going to school and all of that. But because of the platform that you diligently followed through on based on God's vision, that then became the platform that God channeled the blessing for this girl through. So sometimes when we're moving in faith and we're obeying, we don't really know what God is trying to do through us until we actually then start seeing the results. So
Yeah.
this is a very powerful testimony that you've shared. I'm so happy and thankful that you've shared it. And hopefully more things like this do happen, because sometimes the person who carries your blessing and you're not really connected in any way until the Tanny Show becomes that connection point that then links the person who's looking for an answered prayer with the person who can actually be the answered prayer. Because the way God works is he uses us as people to answer the prayers of things that are happening here on earth. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Exactly.
Now, you spoke about the gentleman who was having mental health issues.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed about your show is that you cover a wide range of topics. So mental health, substance abuse, the story about the girl who went through a rough time, religion, fashion.
Yeah.
What, inspired you to kind of like address and tackle these issues?
So what I wanted was for this show to relate to, I don't want you to connect and not have something to relate to. So I've made it in a nutshell, just someone's full day. Okay, so you start your day, you're probably in a family setup, either you're the parent or you're the child,
Right.
so we've covered parenting. So whether you're going to listen to it from the child's perspective or
Right.
from the parent's perspective, but there's definitely something you can take out of it. And, you get your day to day going, either it's your career, either it's business, either you're employed or you're a school child. So all those topics connect and come together, and relationships, dating. If you're not married, there's a topic on dating. If you are married, there's something on marriage as well.
Right.
So there's just that wide range that just fits you into just basically how to maneuver all the stages of your life.
So it's like a buffet and you have a little bit of something for everybody.
Yes. So there's something for everybody. There's something you're supposed to pick in there because you fit in there somehow in the setup of life.
And I like that because you never really know what's in store in the next episode. So you just have to come and watch and then see. And I think multiple things might actually apply because, like, let's say if one show is around dating, great. The next show is maybe tackling things around mental health, which could be affecting you personally or someone you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's always something that you can learn from it. So I think it's the right way to do it, and I'm happy that you're kind of like addressing it this way. Do you cover anything related to business and entrepreneurship?
Yes, I do. In every season, there's been a business episode. I'm a business person, so I really want to put that in. And especially looking at Zimbabwe, it's a very sort of entrepreneurial kind of environment, and stories that can uplift you in just how to start your own business, how to go about it, So yes, there is business stories as well. I've had very amazing guests that have come on and talked about business and just their journey and how they've been a success.
So have you done an episode of like maybe some of the informal traders, like kia, like have you brought some of those hustlers onto the
I had a guest who wasn't very much of the informal, but his story was just mind-blowing. It started off as a gardener, actually. In fact, he started off Kumusha in the rural areas.
Wow.
And he moved to town with no plan, but he just wanted to find a job. And then he was a gardener for some time, and then he was homeless for some time as well. And then eventually goes into how he then started his company. Yeah.
I like that because that's the true rags to riches story.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it shows you that anything is possible.
Yeah.
Especially with Christ.
Amen.
Awesome. All right. So what are the future plans for the Tanny Show? Because you've had season 1. Have you done season 2 yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're getting ready for season 3?
Getting ready for season 3.
So what are some of the plans that you guys have for the show?
So I don't want to share too much, but a sneak peek into the future of the show is just diversity and a message that will speak to a bigger audience. So the show is basically going to be mobile and be moving from country to country.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to come to America?
Definitely.
Hit me up.
Yeah, definitely.
Hit me up when you're in New York, and I
Definitely.
can introduce you to some cool people over there.
Oh, that would be so nice. Definitely. Yeah. So I have a list of some African countries lined up first as our first stops as we go through the seasons, and definitely America. That will be exciting.
You should. You should definitely do it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Africans in America who are doing great things. So I think it's good to highlight their stories as well. But I love that you're starting in Africa because there's a lot happening in Africa. And I feel like, there's no coverage. Like, it's not really being covered as much as it's supposed to. Like, I've seen some really talented people who are creating things in fintech and, innovating in certain things in Kenya. We're talking about Kenya. Kenya is like the Silicon Valley of Africa. You even go down to South Africa. There's a lot of activity with entrepreneurship. So I think if you can highlight some of those stories, I think it's great. And also sport. Sport is also big.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I'm pretty sure you know more about what's happening in Africa better than I do. So I'll be plugged in to watch season 3. And the cool thing, guys, is you can actually watch it on YouTube. So the link to her YouTube channel is in the description. So definitely go and catch up on season 1, catch up on season 2. And then when season 3 is ready, definitely subscribe so that you get a notification when it launches so that you're plugged in. So what message would you have for someone who's watching and they're really thinking about, okay, how can I achieve my own personal greatness? Because after all, we want to surround yourself with greatness.
Yeah.
So what message would you like to give the viewer in their pursuit of greatness?
Okay. So what I want to say is dream big. It's free to dream big, right? It doesn't cost you anything because it's in the midst of whatever it is, wherever you are in life, where these dreams are what will just give you the drive and the ambition to keep going. So in your dreaming big, just remember that greatness is within you. Greatness is always inside us. We take so much from the world on who we are, and sometimes this makes us have very low self-esteem, very low confidence. Can I do this? Oh, I have this dream, but can I actually achieve it? So on that, I want to say it's so important to have a belief system, because when you don't see your strength reaching a certain level, but you have a belief system that's beyond and bigger than you, then you can look at this belief system and understand that I have backing. Okay, so with everything that I've done, I know I have backing. I know it's not just me and Tanny just being like, I want to do this, but I know that I have the backing of the Holy Spirit. I have the power of God with me, and that's your belief system. So find out what your belief system is. What is it that you're going to stand by? What is it that's going to give you strength in that moment? And invest in yourself. So greatness is about investment, right? Whatever that means to you, invest in yourself. This goes to, what are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you spending your time doing? And is this adding value to you? Is this adding value to your personality? Is this adding value to your gifts? Is it adding value to your talent? Is it adding value to just who you are? How you put yourself together when you get into a room? What kind of person are you going to be? And this is all determined in how and what exactly you're using to invest in yourself. And the last thing is, greatness is inside you. So always remember that you don't need any external factors or any external voices determining or detecting to you what is in you or what you're capable of doing, which we are mostly always guilty of. We want to listen to the outside voices. Oh, this has said this. Oh, so maybe I can't. Oh, the economy is not great right now. Maybe it's not time for me to start this thing. No. But listen to the voice of God. Listen to what he has said. I love it because God is our creator, right? So it's like a manual, Kuda. When I give you a phone and I don't tell you how it works, you're definitely going to underutilize it. You're probably just going to receive calls because someone has called you.
Or text.
And you're just going to text. But the moment I give you the manual and I let you know everything that phone can do, you're like, wow, this phone can do so much more. And this is our life. The world never gives you a full picture of what you're capable of. But I always refer back to the manual. And for me, that manual is the Word of God, it's the Bible. And I found out so much of my capabilities from there because He's the one who created us. So He's the one who knows what He has put in you. And until and unless you find out what those things are, you will always limit yourself. So that's just what I want to say for your greatness. Always understand that you are a light of this world and God has chosen you. You're a chosen generation. You are, you're great. The greatness is inside you. It's not in the next person. It's not in the next thing, but it's already inside you. So what you now have to do is just let it out and let it come out. And there's no limit for you, honestly. And it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you're facing. But really, you can take on this world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow and wow. Such a powerful message. And I hope the viewers really took it to heart. Now, the last question I want to ask you. What's your favorite Bible verse?
My favorite Bible verse is Jeremiah 29:11.
Okay.
For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord.
Plans for greatness.
Yes, plans for greatness, plans to give you a hope, plans to give you a future. So I think it spoke to me from a very, very young age, and it's still a scripture that still speaks into my journey right now. So yeah, I hold it so dearly.
So guys, you heard it from Tanny herself. God has great plans for you. It's now just up to you to just step into your greatness, and we'll see you guys at the top. See you guys in the next episode.